So we are back with round 3 of the Wixoss October North American ceremony hosted by Carta Magica. We have around 3 participants here, still setting up. Again, 40 minutes, plenty of time, but it'll be interesting to see the matches we have here. Looks we are getting to basics. I'm going to assume, once again, Deuce Adams. But it looks like versus Deuce X Machina team, X Center this time, with shiny congratulations promos. I would like these, please. Thanks. But looks like DXM is starting first. Intercharging a Dia Ride, another fancy card that just released this past set. Dia Bride does feed into the enter burn strategy, being whenever a red Signy gets targeted by an opponent's ability or effect, they have to enter burn and then discard 2, or on enter, discard a card to look at 2, add 1, discard the rest. A little bit of a filter off of the top 2 cards, but the main point is the enter burn from just targeting a red Signy. So you can expect this to be a mono red deck, or contain mostly red, if not all red, minus maybe, you know, a handful of cards that are just like really good. But nonetheless, be interesting to see how DXM has evolved in this format, or how it has evolved into this set, I should say, not this format, into this set. So we see a PA charged. Standard Madoka Float, discarding an H2O here and drawing 3. Quite interesting. I just realized I forgot to switch the screens, so my bad. Can't be me streaming without messing something up, can it? but it is fine. Bride paid out for the grow cost for X. Looks like a Lancelot and a XX was put for damage. Baphomet and Lancelot. Lancelot's going to get rid of the middle SE. Machina Wing Slash is going to get rid of the other one, clearing the entire lane. Clearing the entire field for a opening attack for Maho. XX swinging in. Servant Burst, returning that H2O to hand. Very nice. Lancelot swinging in. Dark Energy, no burst here. Baphomet, burst for Gallium, draw 2, forcing a discard. It's quite the interesting Adams list I see here. Having Dark Energy. I could see the use of Dark Energy to regain some of the enter cost because of Deuce's abilities to reduce power. Intercharging Epitom. Probably debating what to pay here. Shouldn't be that much of a debate in my opinion, but looks like we're going to be paying the PA to get the grow for Deuce 2. Random drain coming out. What? It looks like he drew a Dark Energy there. Can't tell. But still need to figure out the discard for... Still trying to figure out the discard on Autumn's side. Probably debating. Only 3 cards in hands. Very hard to make a decision here. Looks like Steampunk is going to be discard. Probably the safest decision to discard since you can bring out Steampunk from trash by downing 2 level 2 assists. BP going into the left lane. Getting rid of the Lancelot, not targeting the Baphomet. Understandable. The Baphomet is 7k. Does appear just off of a glance there is enough cards in trash for Baphomet to get her power boost. Baphomet is a bit of a tricky character to get around in that situation. Not much of a tricky character, but does probably require a little more resources to get rid of. With a full grip, trying to figure out what else to play here, or the hand could just not have a lot, but we do see a CZ and a Bruno in center to force a draw or a forced discard, and I like the use of CZ in a sense. If you are running Zirconiums are very fancy in this matchup, but CZ is also fancy. It forces a draw, but then causes a random discard, so while it can benefit your opponent, it is entirely possible that you can rip the card they need out of hand, like a Servant. It's my favorite. Whenever I play this card, I always rip the Servant, and it's fantastic. We see that continues. I should just stop speaking whenever something is about to happen, because apparently when I say something, it happens. Again, I have to double check to make sure I'm muted on their end, so they can't hear my what I'm saying. But Culebra into Alexandrite Burst, quite unfortunate having to take an extra damage because CZ ripped that Servant out of hand and didn't have the other one to compensate. So the real question here is how to go about this turn now. We do have the Grow to X3 to think about in this situation. Do believe the correct play in the sense, knowing it's a bit of an uphill-ish battle at this point, especially after taking the extra damage because of CZ doing CZ things. So he's Grow to X3, now having access to the Soul Mechanic for DXM. Dia Bride in the left slot, discarding a Nobunaga to see what we can get off of that top two. Hopefully something a little better than needed. It doesn't need to be revealed, but Lancelot's pretty good to open up another lane here. Getting rid of the Servant, so we know that Lancelot was kept. Oh my. That's rough. That is very, very rough here. That's, oof. I don't know if I would have done that. I don't think I would have had the gall to do that one. But have the Grow into Deuce Drive. Just remove the last signal on the field. Again, opening up the entire lane here, but level 2 options could see the use of Machina Smash or could use the Aki if you wanted the full 3-stop experience. The Machina that reduces the Signy's power by 20k if it attacks. I do think the actual correct play in this situation would be to grow Machina if it's not the 3-stop version, just to try and prevent some of the damage and maybe get some cards that you actually need back. Or could go the Magica clap route. Stop at least 2 lanes if you're that worried on damage. Either way, this is a very high damage turn. At least 2 to 3 damage, depending on bursts. Could afford to just only take 2 damage, so the Magica clap would be the better choice. Or I should say 1 to 3. Sorry, 1 to 3 damage. Do forget the servants exist in this game sometimes because I'm so used to seeing them discarded. So it looks like it's going to be the Grow to Madoka? Nope. It's going to be the Grow to Machina. At least stops one of the lanes. The correct, obvious choice was to target the Baphomet because it does not have red. You don't want to end up burning extra enter just to be able to target red Signy on the opposing field right now. That is a waste of enter and a waste of a target. So you see a swing there. Gallium forcing a discard. Lancelot. There's 2 damage. H2O is just going to get the draw. What a grip that is being commanded by Chair right now. That's pretty impressive. All these cards, no clue what to do with them. Meanwhile, on the bottom side, 1 card in hand. No clue what that is, but might see it forced off the discard. Or see it forced off a discard from a potential H2O, which realistically, I doubt that at this point H2O would be wanting to be used for discards. Probably just want to use to command a hand lead and just keep getting cards in hand. And the discard was a servant. Autumn not having a game right now, just constantly having servants ripped out of their hand. So we see it down 2 for a Phalaris. Phalaris going to put some mill into it. Doesn't look like there's enough. It doesn't look like there's a small enough cards to get a damage off of the Phalaris mill. But if there are other ways to mill the deck in Chair's deck, it is entirely possible that we can see the Phalaris get a damage off of the Vanish ability. The SE in the right slot rise into H2O. It's like we're attaching, I can't tell what that is. It might be the level 0. Attaching it to H2O just to have a soul on the field for the power reduction. Definitely more than 10 cards in deck. So Phalaris looks like it might remove at least half of the deck, which is still pretty respectable. It puts you that much closer to a refresh penalty damage. But with the way this game is going, I don't think that's going to be much. I don't think that's going to matter much, like, at all, honestly. It looks like there's only 4 cards in deck there. I missed when the counting happened, so between 4 to 5. I'm going to safely assume 5. Always like to have more. Decaraba. Decarabara. I don't remember how to pronounce this card name. All I know is I really like the art behind it. I really love this artist. Decarabia. There we go. You may pay a colorless to vanish a Signy on the opponent's field, which... See ya, H2O. Problem's gone. See ya, Nara. Probably debating a few things here. But the question is what? Wonder if some kind of niche ruling came up. Maybe involving H2O. Because H2O's effect only is only while it's the opponent's turn. So since H2O was vanished on this turn. So I wonder what the holdup is here. Don't believe it's judge related. I don't see a judge in the channel. Enter charging the Lancelot. I don't know about this play here. Enter charging the Lancelot, considering that was a potential card to keep on field for swinging, unless there is a way to gain more cards in hand that I'm unaware of right now. Death deck being used here as one of the pieces, returning the favor of a Mill 2, Salvage 2. What? It's like, ah, cool, I'm a Phalaris. Ah, cool, thanks, you've activated my death deck. Looked like an XX and I didn't quite catch what the second card was since it was under the XX, but it does solve the problem of needing a full grip to play things. So it was like XX Nobunaga. Polaris being vanished off of the... And we're going to go straight to Trigger a Victory. Trigger a Victory on a Mirage. Not a good time to see that here, because this can create a blockade of some sort for... excuse me. This can create a blockade of sort for this turn, which is definitely what Chair needs here. There's two Nobunaga's in Autumn's hand right now, which is, you know, it's spicy. It's a very spicy. Can clear the entire lane and command Double Crush on at least one of them. Actually, none of them have used both of them to vanish. You can't command Double Crush on either of them, but still only playing with 6 limit. Haven't even grown into the level 2 assists yet for Autumn. Meanwhile, we see the Madoka Smash for Chair, knowing probably Madoka Clap is the remaining one. Let's be honest, when isn't it Madoka Clap? But still kind of fancy to see how this line of play will go here. Grow to Nobunaga, or not grow, sorry. Rise to Nobunaga, putting, I believe, X2 under, and then we put a Buckler in center. Buckler is going to get X1. So you get a option to draw or enter charge and vanish a 12k or less on the field. Wise not to use the Double Crush ability of Nobunaga right now, especially considering the fact that there's still the threat of Madoka Clap. You don't want to use that 2 enter to try and push more damage when your opponent's just going to go, nah dog, that's getting clapped. Plus, not to mention, you kind of would want your level... You kind of want to save the enter anyways for the level 2 assists, especially seeing as we have not seen them for Autumn yet. The real question is what could possibly... It's quite the interesting scenario here. Not sure how it's possible to... I'm not sure how it's possible for either player to really... This is just like a really awkward situation for both players, really. Because there's 1 life cloth remaining for both. Yet one has access to both of their level 2 assists. Meanwhile, you have one level 2 assist. The other has only one level 2 assist. Both pieces, I don't think we've seen any of the pieces. We have not seen any of the pieces for Chair yet. So it looks like we're definitely going to see the grow for Magica here. Five enter. Yeah, that's definitely going to be the grow to Magica. Paying for the 3 enter node and the definitely paying for the 3 enter node and the normal node of just being able to summon the Magica. So we're going to see draw. No, enter charge for this one. Very wise, especially needing the enter for the level 2 assists in this sense. So refresh there is going to rip that last life cloth anyways, which interesting choice to guard there, knowing that you might have refreshed that turn. I would have just taken the damage and see if I've gotten the life burst anyways. It gives you an extra enter. Well, it'll give you an extra enter for any of your abilities, and you get to save the servant for later. But now Chair's in a situation, if he can't clear enough lane, if he can't deal enough damage to make the level 2 grows useless, he's in a losing situation. He has nothing to deal with the crackback here, so all that needs to happen is one lane clear, and that's that. So interesting to see what could potentially happen here. Very tough decision for Chair here. Knowing full well has to be able to command. Full well knowing has to potentially do a full clear here just to be able to try and get that last damage in. Only 3 cards left in deck for Autumn. So I'm not sure. Actually, how does that card read? I'm not sure what Deuce 2 they're running, but if it's the Deuce I think it is, I don't think it matters. That can only if it's the three stop the three stop deuce that only can there's only enough enter on the field for Autumn to stop 2 lanes. Unless, with lane clears it gives the full 6 enter to do a full 3 stop. Which only 2 lanes need to be cleared to give Autumn full access to the 3 stop that Deuce offers. On the other hand, if it's the Madoka 2 stop, I believe there's already enough enter anyways for the Machina 3 stop. Let's see. Either way, both options are going to need 6 enter for the 3 stop of damage. Deuce Shield being a better choice in that sense for a 3 stop, just because it can stop Larig damage too if Chair is unable to clear all 3 lanes here. Steampunk, Rise to H2O. That's going to rip a Nobunaga out of hand. So we already know there's no Servant here. But still have to clear potentially 3 lanes. So H2O is getting Deuce. Looks like, I guess it was 1. I didn't quite catch it. Only 2 minutes remaining in overtime here. It looks like just a frag arc in the remaining lane. Or not. Yeah, continuing with the frag arc. Frag arc. Interesting. There goes Buckler off of the frag arc to remove itself and others. Xeno Cluster. Looks like we're seeing the Exceed 3 removing the Xeno Cluster to once per game to return a Phalaris, a H2, and 1 other to hand. Looks like the frag arc is going to return to hand. Downing 2 for the Phalaris to come out. Bruno coming into the center lane. 2 stop saves here. Honestly, a 2 stop saves here. Actually, no. A 2 stop does not save here. Phalaris if Phalaris vanishes, that removes the last life clock. The Deuce Shield would guard against the open lane at least. Two and 2. So we see Deuce Shield and Machina out. Next 2 times damage happens, it is effectively negated. So the mill's going to take out the last life cloth that Autumn has. It was a Baphomet, so no burst anyways. And the Kentucky just opens up for clear game. Game goes to Autumn. See Adam's taken down by DXM. As always, DXM still commanding a very mighty presence in this format. I really loved the use of Deuce Shield here. Don't think that card gets used enough, even though I prefer Deuce Limited. But that will be it for round 3. Stay tuned, and we will be back for round 4 here shortly.